Hello and welcome to this episode of Zoph Talks Photography. Today we're looking at something a little interesting. It's Canon directed and it's going to be which Canon camera should you buy? This is a question that needs glasses, so I'll put my glasses on today. Okay, Canon cameras. There's no reason you need to buy a Canon. Just be clear with that to start off with. Sony, Nikon, Fuji, loads of different cameras out there. But in this episode, I'm going to be covering all the Canon cameras that I grew up with, in a way you could say. So this is not going to be the latest and greatest cameras. As you know, I've done quite a few videos about Canon cameras, in particular concentrating on the differences between older camera models and the newer revamped models. So for example, the videos I've done about my Canon T2i versus the new 1100 series, 1200 series, and what the differences are. So I'm going to be able to help you today by looking at a few different comparisons in this video. So I'm going to look at the whole timeline of the Canon cameras. So we're looking from, I'll start at a point where I got a camera. So if you look on a wiki page, there is actually a little table with the dates on and the models of cameras, which is interesting because then that lets you see when the cameras came out. In my thumbnail picture, you'll see there's a 5D Mark II camera there. And I've purposely put that there because I think that's a good example of a camera that will do everything. What I'll do in this case is I'll look at some comparisons and show you a bit more about the cameras and why I would recommend certain Canon cameras over others. So let's have a look here now. I've done a side-by-side comparison as well with DP review, so I'll be taking you through that. So today I'm going to be giving you enough information to allow you to at least understand the main differences between all the Canon camera bodies. So if I start with, I got a 500D, which was the first camera I bought. The reason I bought a 500D, I did a lot of research online, and at that point I wasn't sure if I wanted to do video or photography. So I got a camera that let me dip my toe into both possibilities. So the 550D is the newer camera to this 500D. I've done a comparison about the differences between the two, and that was the second camera body I bought. Main reason being I was able to transfer the battery grips between the two cameras because they were similar, and also it was a more, well, you probably see it overview, but it's 15 megapixels versus the 18 megapixels. And megapixels is another thing to consider. It's a whole world out there comparing megapixels, but let me go through this like properly. So the Canon 300D is the first rebel camera that came out, and you're looking at 2004 when that camera came out. Then there was a 350D, it's an 8 megapixel camera. Then there's a 400D, which is a the 400D was a XTI, I think they called it, Kiss Digital. And then there's a 450D, which was the 450D was the 12.12 megapixel. I'm just keeping an eye on this for you. Okay, and then the 500D is where we're kind of starting out, because before that it's going to mainly be old cameras and you're only going to really get photography out of them. There's no video options there. The first one with decent video options, or I think any video options to be honest, is a 500D, because it records at 720. And let me just make sure, because it's been a while since I've looked at this, and we have 3.4 frames a second, and let's just have a look. I'm sure this does 720p video, HD video, mid-range, low entry. Yes. Okay, so in that case, the 550D being the next camera in the series was a good balance of getting 1080p video and 720p video at the different frame rates. You can take great pictures with both cameras, you can take video with both cameras. And then I did a separate comparison with the 600D, which is the next line. All these D series cameras are basically your APC cameras. I did a separate thing explaining that, but what I mean by APC cameras is the sensor is a bit smaller than a normal, not a normal, but a full DSLR camera. It's still bigger than most mirrorless cameras, because there are some mirrorless which are APS-C size sensors. But yes, if you're taking photos and you're interested in photography, there's nothing wrong with starting in any one of these cameras. They change up to different frame options. So you've got the D series cameras, but then at the same time, you'll notice that around this time when the 450D came out, they also released a 1000D, and then 1100D, 1200D, 1300D. There's a whole playlist about these videos which I'll link you to, because I've explained the differences on those, going through it properly in detail. So that'll be a handy thing to look at. But right now, the main thing I want to be able to show you is a good Canon camera. This is my point of view, because it's clear, obviously, you don't want to be told this, but this is what it is. It depends what you're going to be shooting. Because a lot of the times your camera, well, not camera, but the lens that you decide to use will be basically what you're shooting, determines what body you get. But the lenses are more important than that anyway, so I won't give you that nutshell, but I'll give you an example of a camera and what you want to use it on. So the 5D Mark II is the one that I used in the thumbnail. That's my full frame camera that I've used, and I only had a need to buy this camera because my 550D and my 500D weren't coping as well in low light, even with the good lens on. So I had the 70 to 200 lens on that camera body, and because it's an APC, smaller sensor body, it had to get higher ISO to get a decent picture. I was shooting at 1600, 3200, and that wasn't doing as well on an APC camera body as it would do on a full frame body. So if you're looking at a DSLR camera, you want it to be a big bulky camera. It depends what you're doing now. This is a big thing. If you're going on holiday, you don't have a massive DSLR camera with you. Well, I wouldn't anyway. I'd want to enjoy the holiday and have a camera that I can take photos on, but not hardcore scare everybody that I'm paparazzi. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to compare you the 5D Mark II, the 5D Mark III, and the 5D Mark IV. This is a range of different years they came out. 2008 Mark II, 2012 Mark III, and Mark IV 2016. Mid-size SLR camera, and it's plenty enough for anything you need. If you get seriously into photography, this is going to be your top camera. However, that's not to say the 6D series isn't an option, because video wise a lot of people are using them, but this is getting into the realms of the latest and greatest gear. What my intention is to let you know the cameras that you can use and not have to buy the latest camera. There's nothing wrong with using some of the older cameras. They're 21 megapixel, 22 megapixel, and 30 megapixel. 21 is more than enough. Full frame sensor. There's a difference in the digics, so that's something to keep an eye on. If you're doing low light photography or you're doing video with focusing, then the digic comes into play. And I've done a separate video again. I'll put a playlist at the end of this video, which would basically be my comparison of all the cameras. If you look through that whole playlist, you'll see everything you need to see about these cameras that I'm talking about and the differences. So there's a difference in ISO boosting capabilities between the cameras because they have newer digic processors, so that handles that part of it. You have your live view options to view when you're making videos. 5D Mark II. Let me just have a look at the nitty gritty and see what the main difference you will be able to get. Okay, so the 5D Mark II is a 3.9 frames a second continuous photos. So if you're taking a photo of someone running, you'll get 3.9 photos every second. If you're doing 6, the Mark III will give you 6, and the Mark IV will give you 7. So if you're shooting sports, that will be an advantage to have more photos. If you're just spraying and praying, which might be a thing, Yes, okay. And apart from that, I've covered it briefly there, but I might do a separate one about this where actually you can look at the different variances between them. But if you're looking at which Canon camera you should buy, why don't you look at all the Canon cameras that have come out in the last 10 years and see what the actual differences are between them? Because at the same time as the 5D Mark II coming out, the 500 and 550D came out as a crop sensor body, smaller sensor body. At the same time as the 5D Mark III Mark IV came out, 700D, 750D came out. So those were options in the same type of years they came out. However, you're here to see which one to buy. I'm hoping this explanation is giving you details about the cameras, but you know what? Let's have a look at some of the mirrorless range, because that is an alternative. Like I mentioned before, if you're going on holiday, you might not want to have a massive camera, which is going to be heavy and you have to worry about. What about the Canon EOS M10, M100 and M200? 2015, 2017, 2019. So newer releases with newer build qualities. They're 18 megapixels, 24 megapixels. So they're similar to an entry-level APC sensor DSLR, but they've got a smaller form factor. Let's have a quick look at the Digics on these. So Digic 6, 7 and 8. So they will perform better in low light. They'll handle autofocusing better. There's a few things that Digic processors allow you to do is how it handles higher range dynamics basically. So that's when you're taking a photo in the dark, how well it handles the noise and the compression. Okay, so let's have a look at these. They offer autofocus assist lamps. They're 1.6 crop body. They've got 3-inch screens with tilt, and they are pretty similar apart from the frame rates. Again, is something to look at. 4.6 frames a second, 6.1 frames a second for the later two models, and the video format resolutions are an option as well. So there's a few things to think about there. Which one would I recommend? If I was gonna get, I don't want to get a mirrorless camera right now. If I was gonna be, I'd get a Fuji. Sorry guys, but yeah, Canon DSLR wise, because I've had the Canon cameras, that's the reason I'm recommending the two cameras I've got. They're old cameras, but if you're watching this video, you're probably being frugal and trying to find a good deal. There's nothing wrong with buying a second-hand camera and getting the best from it, and then finding what you like to shoot and then buying gear towards that. More important than the body is the lens. So I've given you what, 30 minutes of spiel about cameras and the differences between them, but what really you need to think about is, what do you want to do with your camera, and buy the right lens. Spend a couple of £100 on a camera body, buy a really good lens. You'll get a lot of return on your lens than you would a body. And then if you buy a Canon, if you buy a Nikon, I might do a separate one for Nikon, but I'll have to learn about Nikons because I don't have any Nikons. So I've got a separate Reddit group where I discuss these things before I make these videos. So I might discuss it with them and get a few guests on that know about Nikon cameras. But I'm hoping you found this useful. I'll link you to this playlist here. This is everything you need about camera comparisons for Canon. Have a look at that video, and I'll see you on one of those clips videos.